What up, everybody? We are back yet again for the new campaign trail, and 1960. What an absolute close election. You know, in this day and age, in the 21st century, we've had five very close elections. 2000, a couple hundred votes. 2004 was decided by one state, Ohio. 2016 was close, 2020 was close, and 2024 was close. Oh, man. But for the 20th century, the entirety of the 20th century, you want to know how many close elections there actually were? 5. Yep, also 5. It's pretty, we're at a point in history right now where it's unprecedented. And for most of the elections in the 20th century, a lot of them were pretty lopsided. I mean, you have the 30s, you have the 80s, you have the 50s, the early 1900s, all lopsided. The only close elections in all of the 1900s, and I'll list them off right now, 1916, then you got to go all the way to 1948, then 1960, 68, and you might consider 76 a close election. That's it. Yeah. And we're doing one of those elections today with Richard Nixon. Oh, yeah. So Richard Nixon, obviously a pretty controversial figure in American history. You got Watergate. That's what he's remembered for. I watched the Nixon versus Frost movie the other day. Pretty good movie. If the president does it, that means it's not illegal. I've had those Hawaiian burgers, but they don't taste like burgers. They taste more like styrofoam. Anyway, let's do this. After 8 years of Dwight Eisenhower, 2 youthful candidates compete to be his successor. Kennedy is a senator with a moderate record, a telegenic face, and high-minded rhetoric. Oh, JFK, he is quite the ladies' man. Nixon is the sitting vice president with a strong Cold War record, moderate economic views, and potential likability problems. Nixon begins the campaign, likability problems. It's kind of funny in the movie. He's just like, nobody likes me at all. In the last scene, it's kind of funny. He's like, Mr. Frost, everybody likes you. Nixon begins the campaign as the slight favorite, but every region of the country could be competitive. Key issues are the Cold War, civil rights, and healthcare. Okay, so 1960 is pretty important in terms of that pretty much every single state, except for a couple states in the Deep South, are up for grabs. So if we look at the close states, it's over 30 states. Like Hawaii was the closest state, believe it or not. You get states like Illinois, Missouri, which we are going to target this time around. New Mexico. Funny fact, NBC thought that Kennedy won California. Nixon actually won it by 35,000 votes. All these states are going to be pretty close. We also have Harry Byrd that we don't really have to worry about, but yeah, you see it's a pretty mixed map here. You got places Kennedy winning where Democrats will probably never win again. Like, a bunch of counties in Montana and Idaho, North Dakota. And this election is also interesting because every candidate wins at least one county in every state. That doesn't happen anymore. I mean, when's the last time a Republican won a county in Massachusetts? When's the last time a Democrat won a county in Oklahoma? It's been a long time. So, yeah, here's the actual map. So, yeah, our targets is going to be Illinois, Missouri. It's going to be our big ones. Maybe we can knock off Pennsylvania, New Mexico. We're going to try for that. Continue. So, we're going to be Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon has served as vice president for 8 years and begins the campaign as the better known of the 2 candidates. He has long been known as a staunch anti-communist and a Cold Warrior. Nixon faces similar problems as Kennedy, to a lesser extent. Different wings of the party have different demands on civil rights. On the other hand, Nixon might be in a better position than Kennedy to paint himself as strong on defense. Some voters also feel Nixon is cold and unrelatable. Well, Nixon pretty much had to beg Eisenhower to stay on the ticket in 1956. He does have a likability issue. Okay. So running mate. So Henry Cabot Lodge is from Massachusetts. I don't really see the point of running Lodge. Honestly, we know JFK is going to win Massachusetts. We know he's going to win New England. And he's going to win New York. I don't think New York was particularly close in this election. We'll take a look. It's within 5 points. It would make more sense to go for a state like Pennsylvania, which was it says on here 2.3 points. So who else do we have? Oh, we got quite a few options. So we have Everett Dirksen, Senate Minority Leader from Illinois. All right. Could go with him. We got Nelson Rockefeller. Rockefeller? Pretty good. He covers that other wing of the Republican Party. So Nixon is more of a conservative Republican. You know the term Rockefeller Republican, more of the liberal side. So that's a pretty good option too. And Barry Goldwater, who we are definitely not going to go with. Makes you think, why would Nixon go with Lodge? Why? So Rockefeller or Dirksen? This is going to be a hard one. Because Rockefeller is very, very strong, but also I really, really want Illinois. I don't think I can win without Illinois. Okay. Let's read about Dirksen. He's economic conservative, international and world affairs. The thing is, politically, he's more aligned with Nixon. He's economic conservative. And he's a middle ground in terms of Republican politics at the time. I think I want to go for someone like Rockefeller, who's going to represent that other wing, because we want to complement both sides of this party. During the 60s is when the parties become a little bit more fractured. It's more so on the Democratic side than the Republican side. The Republican side really, really fractures during the 80s. But anyway, let's do this. What kind of tone will you attempt to set in your campaign this fall? I will praise the leadership of Eisenhower, but emphasize to concerned Republicans that I will be a more orthodox conservative when I'm president. So this is kind of a worry that people have had, like, hey, this Nixon guy, maybe he's a little bit too conservative. I do want to praise Eisenhower. Eisenhower, super popular president. It is important to keep the Republican Party moving into the future. We need to act on civil rights, education, and healthcare over the coming term. It's pretty good. You got to remember that more Republicans actually voted for the Civil Rights Act than Democrats. Now, if we're being honest, it's more of a regional thing, because you have Northern Democrats also voting for the Civil Rights Act, and it's all those Southern Democrats that voted against it. But by core statistics, more Republicans did vote for it. I will de-emphasize the political aspect of this campaign as much as practicable, and emphasize my own personality and leadership ability. Of course, I will make strong arguments on the Cold War, so I don't like that one. I will pledge as much as possible to continue the policies of Dwight Eisenhower when I'm president. I will also emphasize my experience in Eisenhower's administration, particularly on world affairs. So Eisenhower is very popular. So I think we kind of want to go with this. But then again, this is pretty good too. So we'll continue. People like Dwight Eisenhower, and it's rarely a bad idea to assume his legacy. Okay. What do you have to say about the selection of Nelson Rockefeller as your running mate? Nelson Rockefeller is a very capable man, and I will be proud to have him serve as my vice president. I know this is a bold step, but I believe that Nelson Rockefeller represents the future of our party, and I believe he will be a dynamic leader of this party and nation for many years to come. Both are pretty good, so let's go with it. Draw out one. This is exactly what Rockefeller wanted to hear, and he is putting his considerable resources at your disposal. Pretty good. Damn! Oh, wow. Okay. 377. Can we just hold the election now? Hold it now? Okay, so this is looking very good. But I have a feeling, a very strong feeling, that this is going to seize up pretty fast. It kind of looks like Kennedy, more so looks like Al Smith right now, just having the South and Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I think it would be best to play this a little defensively. So we're going to target New York. We only got 1 point lead there. I mean, we definitely need California. I think we're going to get California no matter what, but so I think my main target's Illinois, New York. So we'll start this off in New York. Nixon had a 50-state strategy that ultimately just didn't work, and Kennedy just went to big urban centers. Are you satisfied with the economy and the economic policies of this country over the past 8 years? Oh, we definitely are. We are on the right track economically. We can't deny there was a recession in 1958. Okay, we don't want to do that. Wait, then it says, but the recovery has been strong. In 1960, we'll see a very high growth in this country. I mean, I mean, it's good to tell the truth. We must do better. No, you are the same vice president, so it's going to look pretty bad on you. The Eisenhower administration has unfortunately failed to make any real action in undoing the excesses of the New Deal. Okay, we don't want to do that because the New Deal is still very popular. We need to do more spending and lower interest rates. So we'll just go with the first option. Gonna be pretty good. There was a recent effort in Congress to pass a program to provide medical care to elderly Americans, but it was narrowly defeated. Will you make a further push for this type of program as president? Okay. Well, obviously this is, the precursor to Medicare. This program would represent a massive new financial commitment for the federal government when care of the elderly people rests with the affected family. This program is a good starting point, but I would much prefer a program of national health insurance for all Americans, not just the elderly. I'm not sure if that's really going to work in the 1950s or 60s. I would redouble our efforts on this front. Too many of our nation's elderly are unable to afford decent medical care in their advanced years. That's pretty good. I prefer a slightly different program, offering health insurance to the elderly that they can choose to purchase. The proposed program was mandatory and also covered only those covered by the Social Security Act. Can we see what these states are feeling on these type of things? Oh, we got Catholicism on here. Oh, God. So liberal health care for New York, moderate for Illinois, California. So a lot of these places are going to be moderates. So I'm not going to go all the way with Medicare. So we definitely don't want to go with the third option. So we can redouble our efforts, or we can just kind of do health insurance, which I don't know. I think we're going to go with the first option on that. You are definitely going against the Republican Congress on this issue, but it could work to your benefit. I think that... Okay, so I think it helped in California, it helped in New York, but Illinois, it didn't really help. So we're still holding strong right now. We're going to go to Illinois. Do you believe that current levels of defense spending are adequate? I think they're pretty good where they are, honestly. How are the states feeling on that? Illinois. Cold War hawkish. Okay, so you might need to up that defense spending. Okay, so it seems like everyone's pretty hawkish on the Cold War. Yeah. Is there any state that isn't? Okay, so I think the up some spending would be pretty good then. I believe that we need more vigilance in the area of defense for both military equipment and missile development. We currently have a missile gap with the Soviet Union. Or we can say We can always find areas for improvement, but we successfully defended the United States and our allies from numerous communist threats over the past 8 years, or in the final analysis, every dollar spent on defense is taken from more... Okay, so we're going to go with the first option. Everyone's hawkish on the Cold War, so that's going to work in our favor. Eisenhower is fears that you would join the Democrats in repeating the inaccurate missile gap allegation. Oh, God. Is the United States adequately prepared to defend against the Soviet threat today? We got to say yes. Okay. We can never be fully satisfied, but we have certainly held our own in the Cold War over the past 8 years compared to where we were during the Korean War. Cuba has been lost to the Soviet Union, providing a potential base for communist aggression on the very doorstep of our nation. I'm very unsatisfied with the current situation. I'm satisfied with our progress over the past few years. We have prevented further expansion while avoiding any major wars. I think number one. Number one seems pretty good. This is a good answer that supports the record and policies of yourself and Eisenhower. Ugh. But things are starting to kind of, yeah. We're still doing pretty good, but I have a feeling this is going to seize up. Relatively quickly, actually. Yeah. So we'll go back to New York to kind of reinforce some narratives. Do you believe that the United States is adequately prepared to defend against the Soviet threat over the next 10 years? Oh, man. I am as satisfied as I can be. With sound defense policies and strong economic growth, we should continue to maintain our advantage over the Soviet Union. Yeah, sounds pretty good. I don't know, to be perfectly frank. Things are going well for now, but we will have many challenges to meet in places like Cuba, Lebanon, Latin America, Indochina, and elsewhere. So that's not a good answer. And we have the missile gap. We're just going to say we're satisfied. Yeah. Southern Republicans are insisting that you visit the region extensively during this campaign, claiming Kennedy will be vulnerable in some states. What are your thoughts? Are we winning? Okay, so Nixon actually won Florida. So why not? Let's get all the help we can get. Or do I just want to hold what I have? Or because he did win a couple southern states, if we look at this map. I mean, Virginia, Tennessee, and Florida. So we can't overlook that. I don't know. Okay, so I will pledge to visit all 50 states during this campaign. That was actually a pretty big mistake that Nixon made. It just didn't work. Do I really want to risk all of this for the sake of going to the South? We have 377 electoral votes. I'm just going to say no right now. This turns off Southerners a bit, but the trade-off in terms of flexibility is probably worth it. Yeah, so Kennedy's now winning New York. Oh, God, it's season up. It's season up. We got 315, though. So, yeah. We're going to go on the defense. At a campaign stop today in Harlem, your running mate Nelson Rockefeller seemed to promise that your administration would propose extensive federal civil rights legislation. Do you stand by his statement? Do we risk that solid South? Well, yeah, we're a Republican in the 60s. Well, why not? You know what? Let's do a little wild card. Because, we are the party of Lincoln, after all. So we're going to win so much Northern support if we do come out for civil rights. Why not? Absolutely. This statement was made with the full support of our campaign. If you want harmony in your campaign, you'd be well advised to agree with statements of Rockefeller. To what extent will you make your experience as vice president a theme of your campaign against the youthful Kennedy? Do Do we want to play the high road on that? I mean, we were vice president for 8 years, but I don't know. Leaning to experience sometimes doesn't work because Kennedy is very charismatic and likable, and Nixon is kind of the other way around. I think there are much better themes to touch on. Let's focus on our plans for national defense and economic growth, and also focus more on Kennedy's experience. Or this seems to be the key centerpiece. So regardless, we're going to attack Kennedy for being youthful. So we'll just go with the first option. There's no reason not to focus your record with Dwight Eisenhower. People like him, and you served under him for 8 years. But people already know that. I trust that people know that. All right, so reinforcing narratives on civil rights did us pretty well. Yes. So basically, I think we've pretty much lost the South for a while. We're looking pretty sexy right now. Go to California, our own home state. Anti-Catholicism has been a huge issue thus far in the campaign, with hundreds of pamphlets and leaflets being distributed across the South and Midwest. Do you have any comment? I think we're going to play the high road. I don't want to, offend anybody because of the anti-Catholic sentiment. It would just be dirty politics. I wouldn't go to these extremes, but anyone should be concerned about a president who is forced to follow the dictates of the Pope. Honestly, I'd rather people wouldn't bring this issue up. People know that Kennedy's Catholic, and it can only galvanize his support from that sector. Yep. It's best to stay clear of the Catholicism issue. Anybody who thinks it's important in this election already knows about it. Pretty good. Should the United States apologize to the Soviet Union for the controversy surrounding the downed U-2 spy plane and surrounding espionage? Oh, God. I don't want to seem like I'm weak, but also I don't want to seem like I'm just crazy. So we lost a lot of ground diplomatically after this event, and much of that could have been avoided if we issued a formal apology. Or we can be absolutely not, or we can just kind of take the moderate approach. A formal apology sounds a bit extreme, but we could certainly have expressed our regrets and perhaps save the Paris summit from collapse. We'll just go with that one. A few people are interpreting this as a criticism and repudiation of Eisenhower, which does not play well for you. Oh, God. Oh, God. That hurt quite a bit. We are at 323 electoral votes, so yeah, we just lost New York. It seems like we're doing very, very well, but I have a feeling that there's going to be one gotcha question in this that could just kill this campaign. We're looking really good. I mean, we're over 300 electoral votes for this entire thing. It looks like Rockefeller was the guy to choose, but anything can still happen. So I'm not going to be too confident in this. Did Eisenhower do the right thing when he sent federal troops to Little Rock to ensure the integration of the high school there? Oh, yeah, he did. He absolutely did. And I would like to see further action to desegregate schools and enforce our civil rights. We're going to be a Nixon that leans into civil rights. Oh, yeah. There have been a large number of sit-ins recently where black students and activists are sitting at white-only lunch counters and department stores to advocate for desegregation. Do you support this movement? This movement has my full support, as do other civil rights measures of our day. I will push for a Civil Rights Act as president. Man, we're going all the way. Oh, God. I guess that didn't help. Oh, Lord. What did I do? Oh, I just... What? I guess I leaned in a little bit too hard. Now I'm losing. Oh, God. Well, that's not good. Yeah, I was just saying that, and lo and behold, it happens. So now we got to play on the offense a little bit. Let's go to Illinois. Anti-Catholicism continues to be an issue. Major newspapers have published a statement by 150 Protestant clergy, including Norman Vincent Peale, opposing any Catholic as president. Do you have any comment? Not particularly. I don't want to be that guy. It's best to stay clear of the cataclysm issue. Anybody who thinks it's an important issue already knows about it. Oh, God. Now it's the debate. So if you don't know, people who listened to the debate on the radio thought that Nixon won. People who watched it on TV thought that Kennedy won. There has been a proposal for a series of television debates between you and Kennedy. Is this something you are interested in? I mean, it's a chance question, so let's do it. Kennedy has managed to come across as your equal in these debates, and that alone is a good start for him. Oh, God. It's drifting away. Okay, so it looks like we kind of have back Illinois. We don't want to lose Pennsylvania either. New York and California. Yeah, those are two really big states. So let's go to California. I think we have a better chance of winning California than New York. During the Great Depression, the federal government began a policy of farm subsidies to stabilize farm incomes and to target a specific outreach of each crop. Are these policies still necessary in 1960? So this is why states like North Dakota, South Dakota voted Republican during the FDR era because of this. I think these programs need to be phased out over time, but in such a way that we don't bring sudden instability to our nation's farm policy. But we got these states on lock. That's the thing. All these farming states. They are absolutely necessary. Farmers are not in a good position to bargain for their crops, and any economic weakness in that sector can easily cause a recession in the broader economy. We have too much of a farm surplus right now, and we need to reduce subsidies for production so that prices can fall into the balance and benefit the consumer. This is a difficult one. I don't think I'm going to lose those states, so we'll go with a little bit more of an extreme answer on this one. Farm issues aren't as important to voters as they once were, but some do still depend on these subsidies. Has the United States adequately defended against the communist threat in Indochina? Would you support further action there if necessary? Okay, so obviously the Vietnam War was a big, fat failure, but all these states are hawkish right now. All of them that we want to win. So we kind of have to be a little bit of a hawk. So let's see what happens. I believe we need to defend South Vietnam at all costs, whatever commitment of our forces that entails. Because keep in mind, we just had the Korean War, which it's a two-state thing going on, but it could have been all communist. This is a situation that we need to watch carefully, and I am open to a variety of measures if necessary. I would support the use of massive airstrikes and tactical nuclear weapons to defend our ally South Vietnam. We need to make sure we don't overextend ourselves into new regions when the situation doesn't warrant it. So we'll say we need to defend South Vietnam at all costs because all these states are hawkish and we want to win. This is the kind of aggressive stance that the American people want to hear. There we go. All right, so we got California back, but we need to get Illinois. New York, it's drifting away. I think New York is kind of a lost cause now. Maybe we should have went with Dirksen. Maybe. But yeah. So it's close. It's getting close. We might get a stalemate in the Electoral College. So we'll go to Illinois. Currently, the highest income tax bracket pays a rate of 91%. Would you work harder to cut tax rates as president? Let's see how people are feeling on the economy. Moderates. So cutting these wouldn't be that big of a deal then. We need to cut this rate substantially. It's way too high. I would be open to this depending on how the economy goes in the next year or two. This is not a high priority for me as president. So I think we'll just be moderate on this one. I'd be open to it. What is your opinion on the current level of education funding in the United States? Would you increase federal education funding even if it meant higher taxes or a larger budget deficit? Education is a key front in our battle with communism, and that includes adequate pay and respect to our nation's teachers. I support additional federal spending on this. I mean, that's a pretty good answer. We need to minimize federal funding of education. No, I'm not satisfied with how well our teachers are paid in this country. I'd encourage local jurisdictions to address this issue further. We need to strike a good balance on this regard. So we're going to fight communism. Oh, God. This isn't a good response for the majority of your party. It's slipping. Oh, God. Oh, God. I think I'm throwing it a little bit. Oh, God. Okay. It's coming down to like these states right here. Also, Missouri would be nice as well. But we got to focus on the big states. Run it up in California. Do you support a minimum wage of $1.25 an hour, with some exceptions for small businesses? Such a measure was recently defeated in Congress. I mean, higher minimum wage is always a good thing, right? But if we're being conservative, then we don't want to do that. But the nation itself is really moderate right now, so we'll support a higher minimum wage, $1.25. Let's do it. This puts you at odds with many Republicans, but a higher minimum wage is not the most unpopular idea. How serious at the current time do you believe the internal communist threat is? I mean, we should be concerned. We want to be hawkish on that. So we should always be concerned about internal subversion, but the external Soviet threat should be our primary focus at this point. I mean, that is true. The last thing we need is return to the excesses and witch hunt of the early 1950s. That's also true. We need to keep ourselves focused on external communist threat. Okay. It's unfortunate that we become less vigilant. Okay, we don't want to lean into McCarthyism, so we don't want to go back to the witch hunts. Many remember your role, for better or for worse, in unmasking Alger, Hiss, and other incidents, and are surprised to hear you talking about witch hunts now. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, what did I do? No. Oh, I just threw this election. I just threw it. Man, it started off so good. Oh, man. Oh, man. At the beginning, I thought, it's going to be a cakewalk, but I've bungled this. I've completely bungled this. Man. What does a popular vote look like? Yeah, 4 points. Oh, Lord. Well, it's not looking good now. Recently, Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested at a sit-in in Atlanta and has now been sentenced to 4 months in prison for failing to get a Georgia driver's license after moving to that state. Do you have any comment or action you'd like to take? Okay. Do we want to lead? Well, I guess we got to lean into civil rights, but I assume that JFK is doing the same exact thing. So let's make this public. Yeah. Eisenhower has his own responsibilities as president, but he is able to hit the trail for the last week of the campaign. He will obviously provide a huge boost wherever he appears. What do you think? All right. So this is looking pretty brutal. Let's go on the West Coast. Oh, man, it's not looking good. Obviously, this helps on the West Coast, but you're also getting a little bump nationally from the popularity of Eisenhower. Bruh. Oh, man. What have I done? Oh, my God. I'm going to get landslided. I can't believe it. I might even lose Montana. Well, we'll end it off in Illinois, but it's not looking good. What did I do? Everything is going well, except for an unfortunate incident in Texas, which is giving Lyndon Johnson some good publicity there. Good luck tonight. Man, it looked like I was heading towards a landslide. And I just pulled a Michael Dukakis and just threw this election. Oh my God. So I leaned way, way too hard into civil rights. My God, I should have been a moderate on that issue. Like, I might lose Montana. Like, that's how bad this is going to get. Man, I was as high as 330 electoral votes. And I just bungled this election. My God. I mean, I could have won New York. I was going to win Hawaii. Yeah, so these results are coming in. But it's not looking good. Oh, man. We're going to lose all the big states. I mean, it's not looking horrible right now. I pulled through with Pennsylvania, so Nixon didn't win that in the election. All right. And I lost. I think New York just came in, so, yep. Oh, man. I won Minnesota. Okay, that didn't happen in the election either. So we're doing relatively well. The popular vote is, like, not even close. It's, like, almost 5 points. But I'm winning some states that Nixon didn't win. So that's interesting. I lost my home state of California, though. Not good. And these last states. So 201 electoral votes to 322. I could have won this. I definitely could have. I just did not play it right. So if we look up there, I won Minnesota. I won Michigan. I won Pennsylvania. Those are states that Nixon didn't win. But all those other states, I just completely bungled. Man. Sorry you lost the 1960 election. A lot of people think this election was yours to lose, and party operatives are already whispering that Nelson Rockefeller will be a frontrunner in 1964. As such, it appears that your chances of becoming president are over. Perhaps you can return to California and run for governor or for the Senate again. And as we know, Richard Nixon lost that governor election. He comes back in 1968, narrowly wins. 1972, we know that he wins 49 states, but then that second term is tainted with Watergate, and he resigns in disgrace. Now, is everything that Richard Nixon did bad? No, not at all. But obviously, he's a very, very controversial figure in history, and a lot of people consider him to be one of the worst presidents in American history. I definitely wouldn't go that far on Richard Nixon. There are some good things he did, and we can acknowledge, but we can't get away from the controversy. But let's look at the results. So, yeah, Kennedy beat me by nearly 4 points in the popular vote. The actual popular vote was razor thin, so I underperformed a lot. Results by state. So what was the closest state? So Kentucky was the closest state. Kentucky back then was more so a Democratic state. Wisconsin was pretty close. I pulled through with Montana, thankfully. Missouri, yeah. Pennsylvania, I won. Kennedy won California. Hold off on Minnesota, pretty good. Washington, these are states I should have won. Alaska was really close. Delaware. New York, ultimately, it was about less than 3 points. So, but yeah, those two states, which I really wanted, if I was able to get, New York, Illinois, and California, then I would have been able to pull this off. But yeah. Oh, man. So anyway, I bungled it, I blew it, I threw it, unfortunately. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and more videos coming soon.